never going to like denounce somebody for being in sex work, whether it's online, in person, whatever. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Teresa, and if you have never been here before, I help premium content creators harness the entrepreneurial skills that they are learning right now in order to build a better future. And I thought that I would take a whack at this whole like vulnerability, being relatable type thing, because this is honestly like what I expected my channel to turn into. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. But I wanted to share with you why I haven't been posting on OnlyFans a lot recently. I haven't really made new content since like the beginning of December. And I thought that I would kind of come on here and talk to y'all about why that is. You know that a couple of videos ago, I made a video on like what to do when you don't want to film content. And I've just been feeling like that a lot recently. And it has been getting in the way of my content creation schedule. And it has less to do with not wanting to create content and more to do with not wanting to be objectified anymore. You know, in my last video about expanding my personal brand, I talked about not wanting to cater to the male gaze anymore. There's been a lot leading up to this that I just wanted to talk about. I don't have a script or anything. I literally did not write anything down. So this is just gonna be me rambling, and then I'm probably just gonna like splice it all together later so that it all comes together in like some kind of cohesive statement. The first thing I want to talk about is like my inner healing journey. So probably around the time of the pandemic, I realized that my life was not where I wanted it to be, or like on the track to be anywhere I wanted it, where I wanted it to be. So I started reading self-help books, and I got into a lot of spiritual things. So the first self-help book that I read was serendipitously recommended to me by a lady who worked at the laundromat that I was going to at the time. And she told me to read this book. It's called Unfu Yourself. I will link it down below in the description. And I think that that was just like a funny way of the universe telling me like what to do. Because like I said, I got really into spirituality, so I started studying astrology, like life path, and getting into like all the personality tests, and I wanted to know everything about myself. I explained it to people. I was like, I feel like I'm this puzzle that I need to put together before I feel complete or whole. So there are a lot of things that I have not shared online because they just don't really fit into my niche. And a lot of my followers are like men who have followed me because I am sexy and I post explicit content. And I've been like losing a lot of followers recently because I have not been posting the same kind of content. But the realization that I had was that my career on OnlyFans was just not very fulfilling. And I'm not saying that it's bad. I always try to explain this to people, and they think that I have had some kind of like religious change of heart, like Black China, like I'm about to go get baptized or something. And it's literally not that at all. It's just that this isn't like what I want to do. And it is, sometimes it puts up walls between me and what I want to do. And I'm not even going to say that they're walls that are put up specifically by the people I want to network with. And a lot of it has to do with my own mentality because of how I was raised. If you have seen my video interviewing my parents, you'll understand a lot more about that. I grew up in an extremely religious household, so I just have a lot of subconscious beliefs that are like ingrained into my brain that it's going to take a lot to overcome. It's basically, I feel like I went through this religious trauma, and like in order to overcome it, I rebelled and I went the exact opposite way. But what really fulfills me is gonna be somewhere in the middle. Like, I have nothing against sex. I'm not gonna be the person that you see at church on Sunday. Like, when my parents are in town, I'll go to church with them because it makes them happy, but not because I believe in it. if I end up with a life partner, it's not that I want to be pure for them or that I want them to be the only one that I'm with. I'm not in some kind of denial about what my beliefs are around sexuality. I have very liberal beliefs about sex and how it's interwoven with our personal lives. But that's the thing, is that I want it to remain a part of my personal life. Some people don't really care about it being a part of their personal life, and they care more about making money from it, and that is extremely valid. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. If that is the kind of mindset that you have, for whatever reason, like, I'm 100% there with you. I am never, ever, ever going to, like, shit on people who create premium content. And I'm never going to be ashamed of the time that I spent creating premium content. It's just not what I want to focus on right now. And I also want to say that there was a long time that it was empowering for me. Like, it was something that I was able to tap into that had been repressed for a very long time. Here's the thing, is that I know when I post this video, some podcaster is going to take this video and splice it up and make it sound like I regret my time on OnlyFans, which is not the case at all. Absolutely not the case. There was a while where it was empowering for me, and I am never going to deny that. I am never going to be ashamed of the time that I spent on OnlyFans, and I am never going to, like, denounce somebody for being in sex work, whether it's online, in person, whatever. I am there with you. The thing is, I'm just getting older. Like, I'm 25 years old now, and I feel as if, here's the thing that I try to explain to people also a lot, is that if I had any other job and I had been working it for 4 years, and then I came up to you and said, hey, I'm bored of this, I want to get a different job, everyone would be super understanding. They would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, like, good for you, try something new, right? But because I have an OnlyFans, it seems as if people think that I am, like, in this little box, that, like, I have no idea what's going on in the world, that, like, my opinions are invalid. What are some other hate comments that I've gotten? Just, like, people thinking that I'm dumb and I have no other value to add to the planet. And that's just something that I'm not cool with. And it also seems ironic to me, because I look at people, you know, like Kim Kardashian, Madonna, like the most famous people in the world, and they're all like these sex icons. So I don't know where we got this narrative that you can't go from being like some kind of sex pot to being like a successful woman, which is kind of why I'm irritated. However, I do think that it's time for me to focus on things that are more aligned with like what I want to do with the rest of my life, since I am 25 now. There were a lot of reasons that I chose to start my OnlyFans account, like just logistically it made sense, but like I didn't ever have to make an OnlyFans. I made the decision to start an OnlyFans when I was 21 years old, and I went to a community college in Iowa. And all I wanted to do was get the fuck out of Iowa, right? So I'm very thankful for OnlyFans, because it did exactly that. It got me out of Iowa. And it moved me down to Texas, where I have been living my life. I have had many incredible opportunities. So I never want anyone to think that I like regret doing OnlyFans, because that's not the case. I'm just getting older and my priorities have changed. You know, I want to build up my resume so that I can get a more professional career in the future. I do think that I'm going to end up in a career that is more creative, with people that don't care so much that it's something that I've done in the past. Same thing when I consider who I want to be with in the future. I've learned a lot about how the porn industry like affects people's minds, and I've been seeing like the rise of AI and how it is just like really messing with people's brains, and that has nothing to do with content creators, but it has a lot to do with the people who are consuming that kind of content and how they see women. And as a feminist, I am getting to the point where like I don't really like being perceived in that way. Like, I don't like the comments on my Instagram of people telling me just gross things. I don't want to hear it. I don't want people Snapchatting me, asking me for meetups, all of those things. I'm just over it. It's been 4 years, and I think that it should be fine for me to say that. It was a good way to make money from home, especially through the pandemic, because I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I was in an in-between space, and I am in an in-between space, but like of two totally different phases of my life. Like, that was the beginning of this phase, and now I'm like phasing out of it. Like before, I said I was in a community college studying something that I didn't really care about, somewhere where I didn't want to be, and now I'm not sure if this is where I want to be forever, but I know that I'm happy here for now. I'm finishing my degree in something that I find a whole hell of a lot more interesting. I have way more career opportunities and networking opportunities around me now that I'm living in like a larger area. And so I just think that my life has changed a lot. And it sucks that people are expecting this out of me, that I'm going to continue to be a premium content creator for the entirety of my life, it seems like, or I'm going to be a premium content creator until my life like falls apart, which is what haters online think. But then like I look around and there are so many people who have been in sex work and then live totally normal lives. And that's kind of what I wanted to explain in this video. It has nothing to do with how other people see me and a lot with how I see myself. Because if you have done sex work and like you were raised in a household where there was nothing wrong with that, where you totally respected sex workers and understand where they're coming from, then you are gonna have a totally different self-perception than I do as somebody who was raised at a Catholic school, going to mass every single Sunday, and with very religious parents, you know? So I'm saying that I don't want anybody taking this video and putting it out of context, saying that like no one should be in sex work, because I don't think that that's true either. I think that if it makes you happy, then it makes you happy, and that's what you should do. But if you're like me and you've been through years of therapy and life experience, and then you come to the conclusion that this isn't what you want long term, that's okay too. I was really nervous to talk about this because, as you know, my book is coming out. It's called Slut to CEO: Converting Your Fan Site Subscriptions to a Sustainable Business Model. And I was afraid to talk about this because I thought that it would like crush my sales. Like, people wouldn't want to buy the book if I quit. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I just thought I would be honest with you, because that's kind of what I talk about in the end of the book. Actually, I talk about it throughout the book. I talk about it in the beginning because there is like a quiz that it puts you under an archetype of like a sexy Sally, a business Betty, or a no-go Nora. And you know, I've always been a business Betty. Like, the money was the incentive, the free time was the incentive, but now like the cons are starting to outweigh the pros, and they have been for months. And I've been trying to like kick the can down the road, but I'm getting to the point where it's like everything that I could give has been given. I've been working on this book now for 2 years. I've been in the industry for 4 years. Like, I think that I've been doing a lot. Like, my entire adult life has been on OnlyFans, and now I have other like opportunities that I'm wanting to pursue that I don't think that I need to justify that to anyone. I think that my experience still speaks for itself. That's something my mentor and friend Shawn, the author of The energy formula had to explain to me. I will also link that book down below. I was telling him that I was afraid to quit because I thought people wouldn't trust me. Like I would lose the trust with my audience if I gave up. If I said that this is how you build a sustainable long-term income and then I quit, like how are they going to trust me? And he was like, but you've already put in the work. Like you've already shown that you can make a full-time income on OnlyFans, and then like you can move on with your life. Like let this be the final chapter. And so now that my book is going to be out in like a month, it has everything that I learned over the past 4 years and that I've been working on. So I really hope that you understand where I'm coming from and that you listen to me. My last video about expanding your personal brand, I also spoke about this. In the last chapter of my book, it's all about like what comes next. Like when you are either aged out or like phased out for whatever reason, whether you just don't feel like it, or like you have kids, you don't have time, you have other jobs, you have other responsibilities of any kind. At some point, all of us, unless you die, are probably going to have to quit OnlyFans. And so I'm going to be sharing that kind of journey with you. I'm going to continue sharing like social media marketing tips. I'm going to continue sharing like productivity tips, and also a little bit of the behind the scenes of my life right now. I've been doing some more modeling jobs, and I'm also going to talk a little bit more about my book. But other than things that are like straight from the book, I'm probably not really going to be talking about OnlyFans that much anymore. Like I said in my last video, I'm going to make one video per chapter about the book, but after that I will probably be done talking about OnlyFans, and my videos will be turning into more like business and content creation kind of videos. So if you like me as a person, make sure to hit the red subscribe button down below and the gray notification bell right next to it if you want to keep up with my journey. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.